Hello and welcome back to Bespoke Unit. You're with CP, and in this video we're going to be looking at another fragrance review. Is it a contemporary classic? Is it an overworn scent? Let's find out. This is Paco Rabanne 1 million. As with every fragrance review, we'll be using a Bespoke Unit fragrance formula, a quantifiable and justified matrix that will help us determine exactly where this fragrance stands with the others. You can download your own blank version to review your fragrances at home. Just look in the description, it's yours. Even if you aren't particularly into fragrances, I'd hazard a guess that you've already heard of, or at least smelled, Paco Rabanne 1 million. It caused quite a stir when it came out in 2008, and I was actually one of the people that would wear it in my teens. I think I was about 18 going on 19 when it came out, and I'd wear it at university, and I got a lot of compliments for this. And I wore it for quite a number of years. Until then, it seemed that everyone was wearing this fragrance. So I started trying out other things, and I actually went back to my other absolute all-time favourite, Paco Rabanne, which my grandfather used to wear, and actually still does. I'm just going to let that cook off for a bit because the head is quite alcoholic. So it stings the nose a little bit. We've got something that is very bittersweet grapefruit, very sweet, very sugary, with some blood orange in there and some peppermint. So something that is very citrusy, but not in the fresh kind of way, but something in the warm, strong, vibrant, with this peppermint kind of fresh addition to it, which makes quite a well-rounded head and something that is somewhat considerable in strength. Now, as we're easing our way into the heart, we're starting to pick out some more floral notes as well. I'm getting a little bit of neroli, which is an orange blossom flower, so we're still in the citrus theme with a little bit of rose, some cinnamon and some nutmeg. So we're going something very spicy, very floral, with the citrus that we experienced earlier. Now that blood orange and that grapefruit, they're starting to wane, they've faded here. Now we're really into this sort of neroli, nutmeg, cinnamon and rose bouquet in the heart. It's very sweet, it's a little bit cloying, but it's very enticing, very tantalizing. Let's see what the base has. So here at the base we've got something that's very musky, very leathery, very over, very powerful, very seductive, very strong, very masculine. We have what seems to be a blend of patchouli, arguwood and labdanum. The patchouli is quite sweet, kind of earthy and works quite well with the arguwood to make something that's quite leathery as well. Whilst the labdanum is very musky, very animally, very amber. So here we don't really have any of that rose, we don't have any of that neroli anymore. Here we've got something that's very resinous, very masculine, very deep, very warm, and very, very seductive, and quite on the sweet side as well. Thinking about the seasonality of this fragrance, this is something that is very wintry, very autumn, fall. This is not something that I would wear during the spring or summer months. In fact, in summer, if you wear this, it would be very cloying, it would be very oily, it would just feel sweaty, a little bit dirty. Except for the summer nights where it actually can be quite sensual. This is something that really evokes that kind of wintry imagery that is still quite warm, very spicy. Briefly, let's touch on Paco Rabanne 1 million's wake and strength. Needless to say, because we've all smelt it in the tube, in the metro, or even on a bus, this is a very powerful fragrance that performs overly well. In terms of projection, it is very far-reaching and lacks a little bit of subtlety when it comes to it. You can pretty much pick out all the notes if you're on the other side of the room and someone is wearing it. In terms of sillage, well, because it projects so strongly, the sillage, it's hard to distinguish the difference between the two. The sillage is the trail that someone leaves when they wear it. Nevertheless, it performs very well in terms of sillage. If, for example, you spray it on someone, they leave the room, it doesn't leave with them, it stays in the room for quite a while. So take great care in applying this. Likewise, in longevity, this is a very good performer. You could put this on, it would probably last you throughout the whole day and you wouldn't have to put any more on. So if you're looking for something that performs well, is very strong, and will cut through anyone else's fragrance, this is a likely contender. The third-party feedback with regards to Paco Rabanne 1 million is quite something. It's very interesting actually, because here we have very polarizing opinions. If Paco Rabanne 1 million was worn less and less recognizable, perhaps it would be much easier to sort of cut through it and figure out if this is objectively a good fragrance or not. But because it is so overworn by just about everyone and applied in great quantities, this is something that is quite hard to figure out, because people tend not to like it as much as they used to. We have two sides then, taking this overworn concept out of the equation. We have two sides. We have the one side that finds this overpowering, cloying, too strong, really oily and too much. We have the other side that says this is a powerful frag. I absolutely love it. Very essential, very exciting. Interesting in terms of demographic, this is definitely a young person's fragrance. I found that very few men and women around their 30s actually like this. They found it a little bit synthetic for their taste, whereas both men and women at around their late teens, 20s found this to be a very enjoyable fragrance. The men thought this was great, the young men particularly in their teenage years thought this was a fantastic fragrance, very exciting, very powerful, it lasts throughout the day. And the women kind of found it quite sensual, kind of exciting, very, very warm, very inviting. So here we have a very interesting sort of position of where Paco Rabanne 1 million stands. So let's look at where Paco Rabanne 1 million stands in terms of impressions. Firstly, we're looking at as third-party feedback pretty much gave away, we're looking at a very youthful fragrance. This is something that's best worn by anyone under the age of 19. This was actually a gift to my stepson, and he's been wearing it on an almost daily basis for a number of months. He really likes it, he enjoys it, and he's a bit young to be seducing the ladies, but he likes to think that the girls really like it. And I'd be so inclined to believe that is the case. When I wore it, I was between 18 and 19, and I did get a lot of compliments. So this is something that isn't just a fragrance worn by men that men like, but a fragrance worn by men that women do appreciate of a certain age. The curve kind of crashes quite soon after that, and as soon as you start to get into your early 20s to mid 20s, its popularity will dwindle quite dramatically. In terms of time of day to wear this is a very nighttime fragrance. This is actually an ideal fragrance to be wearing when you're going out clubbing. Not only is it a good performer in the terms of strength, but it's also something that's leaves quite an impact. So when you're in a club and you're surrounded by people in very close proximity, and they're all sweating and they're all wearing their own fragrances, this guy, he's going to be picking himself out quite easily. Thing is, you won't be the only person in the room wearing it, so by the numbers, it's not exactly a unique fragrance. In terms of occasion, this is a fragrance that is very, very casual. You could wear it for a date, you could wear it romantically, but it's such a huge statement that it might be overwhelming. If you don't know your date very well, it might also be a risk to wear. Formally, I wouldn't wear this at all because it kind of lacks that refinement that you would want from something that you wear at a formal occasion. And at the office, this is too overpowering and too cloying, and it might not be appreciated by your co-workers. So really try and, if you do get this, reserve it for casual wear. Finally, in terms of masculinity, this is indeed a very masculine fragrance, very strong, very resinous, very unabashedly masculine in the conventional sense. This is something that a woman would probably struggle to wear, although there is Lady Million that came out some years after, thanks to 1 Million's acclaimed success. So let's close in and talk about the fragrance's presentation. Well, it's an iconic bottle, it's very recognisable, its gold colour is a bit of a giveaway, it's called 1 Million and it's engraved right here. And in terms of the bottle style, it's made to look like a gold bullion ingot. We've got a sort of gold colour plate at the front that's made out of metal. On the sides, the atomizer is flush and integrated into body with a reservoir at the back so you can see how much you've got left. The atomizer forms reasonably well, lays it on a little bit thick for my taste, but still very, very good in what you would want from an atomizer for a quality fragrance. Packaging for me is a difficult one to take a look at. This was a gift set. It includes the shower gel for my stepson. I personally think it's great. It looks great. You've got this nice textured finish. But when it comes to the original packaging, I don't remember what that looks like, and it may have changed since my day. And then finally, value for money. I think I'm finding value for money. Given that this has been out for a number of years now, its price hasn't exactly dwindled and it's stayed pretty much consistent. If you check the link below, you'll be able to see where we recommend you get it from at the best prices. You're looking at anything from $40 to $65 for 100 millilitres, which is quite reasonable really for what you get out of it. Given that there's something suited to more younger gentlemen, if they're looking for something on a reasonable budget, they might struggle to find this, but if they get a little bit of help from some generous parents, they could certainly get a hold of this without breaking the bank. To conclude, if you're a young lad looking for a very outgoing and very powerful fragrance that is very tantalizing and the girls will love, this is certainly one to check out. If you're a guy about my age or even a little bit younger, I'd certainly try it before buying it, but who knows, maybe you'll really get a taste for it. Don't forget though, this is something that has been worn a lot and continues to be exceedingly popular, so you won't be the only person in the tube, in the office, or in the club wearing it if this is your signature scent. My name's Charles-Philippe and that's all from me today. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. If you have any questions, be my guest and ask away. And don't forget that we also have Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Check the links below and head to Bespoke Unit if you want to learn more about fragrances. Take care.